Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kevin.
And I'm John.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we take a long, hard look back at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, friends, and we're taking a deep dive into some of these 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
Hey, John, how you feeling?
Hey, my brother, I'm feeling good. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I am sipping on a little Sweetwater 420,
Delicious.
Atlanta's flagship.
I wish that I could have some Sweetwater 420, but it's hard to find in Houston, Texas right now. In its place, I'm having a little more Wilderness Trail single barrel delicious bourbon whiskey from the great state of Kentucky.
I should stick to bourbon when we do Arnold flicks because I feel like he's a bourbon kind of a man.
He's a bourbon or scotch. I feel like Arnold, yeah, he's a brown liquor guy.
Yeah. Although, you know, being the Austrian, he's probably has a soft spot for beer as well. Beer. You know what? I know this to be true. This Arnold Schwarzenegger really likes schnapps.
Real? What flavor?
I don't even know, but I know there was a story of when he was doing Conan the Barbarian, and they had his ass out there pushing that big wheel, the wheel of pain, around like in the snow and everything like that. He's in a loincloth in the snow pushing this shit, and they said they were just giving him shots of schnapps between every take to try to keep warm. And he was just pounding him. So he was drunk off his ass while he was pushing that wheel around.
This is something that I don't know the answer to. I know that there are several different flavors: peppermint schnapps, peach schnapps, apple schnapps, schnapps. Is there a baseline schnapps, or is it just a method of distilling the liquor? The liquor.
I'm Googling because I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm curious because it seems like it's probably like vodka or something where they make all the flavors, but is there schnapps?
Or is it like it's like Grand Marnier is a specific kind of liquor, or Di Zerano is an amaretto liqueur, or stuff like that. Like what is? And if you're bothered by me saying liqueur that way, fuck you.
Oh no, he doesn't mean it.
Shots fired.
He doesn't mean it. He's just drunk. It says a strong alcoholic drink resembling gin and often flavored with fruit.
Interesting.
So I guess there is a non-flavored schnapps that just tastes like schnapps.
Yeah, it tastes like schnapps tastes. I wonder if it's like for gin, it's juniper. I wonder what schnapps' base like flavoring agent is when it's not flavored.
I'm popping the Wikipedia open because I want to know what it's distilled from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Wheat, one would imagine.
Schnapps or schnapps is a type of alcoholic beverage that may take several forms, including distilled fruit brandies, herbal liqueurs, infusions, and flavored liqueurs made by adding fruit, spices, or artificial flavoring to neutral grain spirits.
Oh, this sounds like, have you ever had soju, Korean? It's a Korean liquor. This sounds a lot like that. Most like when you're just having baseline soju, to me, it tastes like vodka, which I'm not a huge fan of unless it's just in the dirtiest martini that you can make. But soju is like the practice of making it and distilling it is heavily infused with like lots of different kinds of flavors. So that's what schnapps sounds like to me.
But yeah, as you say, I've never heard of it not being flavored. Let's see.
What flavor do you hope Arnold was drinking on the set of Conan?
Oh,
peach,
I think
apple.
Yeah,
I think peppermint.
I'm going to say he was doing peach.
I hope he was, because I feel like I could drink some peach schnapps and be okay with it. But
yeah,
peppermint schnapps sounds gross. It sounds nasty.
Well, I mean, I love peppermint, but yeah,
you do too. But I don't want to drink it.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, no, this thing doesn't say what it's made from as far as like what grain or anything like that. A neutral grain spirit.
It probably.
What does that mean? You can use any number of things?
Yeah, rice, wheat. If it's a European spirit, I would imagine it's wheat. But all that to say, Arnold drinks schnapps, but we like to think of him as being a brown liquor guy.
Yes.
Am I right?
I imagine him. He's got the stogie and he's got a nice glass of scotch.
Always.
That's the Arnold I want to. No, I don't want to think about Arnold drinking peach schnapps, drinking apple teenies.
Delicious apple teenies. I guess we should kick off this episode. Chapter 4.
The penultimate episode of Running Man, The Running Man.
Which means next
it is
ultimate,
The Running Man, right? Or is it Running Man?
It is The Running Man.
I think it's widely known in the culture, though. People just call it Running Man.
Yeah.
Right?
It takes a long time to say the.
It's like the first Terminator is The Terminator, but people just call it Terminator.
Right. Yeah. It's like, why? Or would you see it listed in like a bibliography? It's Terminator, the.
It's ubiquitous. It's like there's no confusion when you just say Terminator. People know.
Yeah, exactly.
When you say Running Man, people know what the hell you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what we're talking about. Welcome to the fourth installment, penultimate installment of the Running Man series here on 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger.
I will try to catch us up real quick. Basically, Schwarzenegger plays the character Ben Richards, who was wrongfully, he was sort of framed for a mass murder that he didn't commit by the evil government. He's been forced to enter this Running Man game show along with some prison friends of his named Laughlin and Weiss. He also met up with a girl named Amber who works for the network, who's sort of comes to believe that he's actually innocent and finds proof that he's innocent. So she's also captured and sent into the Running Man game format. And where we catch up with them now, they've killed off one stalker named Sub-Zero, and now they're being hunted by a couple more stalkers named Buzzsaw and Dynamo.
We should mention, if you're not familiar with the format of the Running Man game show, think American Gladiators, but people die.
People die for real.
Instead of getting tagged with tennis balls and just getting tackled to the floor if you're playing Powerball.
It's not unlike anything you would have seen in the movie Gladiator, where they're,
true story,
a few gladiators fighting against, these slaves fighting against professional type gladiators. But this is being played out on a much larger stage and it's televised and everything like that. Oh, and the game is rigged.
100%. The running men are not supposed to. The contestants are not supposed to make it out alive.
Yeah, they're sort of being tracked biometrically, and so they think they can hide, but they really can't. I think.
So we pick up. They're being pursued by Dynamo and Buzzsaw, and they've been separated. So Richards and Laughlin are they run into this warehouse, they're hiding, and when inside we get like a weird soundscape. They can hear Killian talking and they can hear a crowd cheering, but there's also a woman screaming. It's very sort of nightmarish and unsettling.
It seems like a pretty bad indication that they're not safe in there.
Correct. Floodlights suddenly come on and Buzzsaw rides at him on his motorcycle.
Buzzsaw's thing is that he wields a couple of chainsaws, like a chainsaw in each hand.
And they look sort of custom made, right? They're like chromed out looking chainsaws.
Yeah, they gave, as they were introducing him earlier, they gave a big description about his chainsaws. Now they can cut through flesh, bone, and steel. They're like special whatever. They're made extra strong.
They got that diamond chain on them, I guess. I don't know.
Something like that.
Well, as Buzzsaw comes riding at them, helter-skelter, Laughlin shoves Richards to safety and is wounded. And it hurts me just seeing and hearing it because it sounds like he got ripped up. Richards,
you can't really tell where it hit him or if it hit him in the shoulder, if it hit him around the neck. I don't know, but
we just know that he's been tagged. Richards drags him out of the way. But Buzzsaw in that moment lassos Richards with like a bolo or something and drags him around. The bolo looks like it's made from like the metal hose that your kitchen sink is made of. Like,
okay.
like the hose on the kitchen sink. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
How it's like,
it has that look of like braided almost.
Yeah, like braided stainless steel or braided aluminum or something. I don't know, something that's not going to rust, obviously, but that's what the cord looks like. And we were talking about this earlier, that if that's not Arnold getting dragged around, then that stunt guy looks just exactly like him, because it looks like Arnold's getting whipped around at least for part of the action where he's like holding on to it and getting dragged a few feet. It would not have been. Yeah.
They had some close-ups that were definitely Arnold, but I assume he was riding on like a sled or something for those shots, not being directly dragged. But man, those Adidas suits like can take a beating.
Yeah, because he is fabric.
This thing would shred leather or anything else. But when he gets free of this and his suit looks more or less the same as before.
Right, that's high quality fabric, which we're made to think Adidas. They make a quality product,
of course. Well placed product placement. For sure.
I like the cut to the wealthy people back at ICS watching in their like studio VIP room is very reminiscent of Hunger Games. It's all very, very similar, right? Like
Good
the
call.
like the 1% watching the gladiators in the arena.
Let's just say Hunger Games probably ripped this off. I feel comfortable saying that.
We definitely can. Post-apocalyptic future game show, most popular thing in the world.
People like watching people be hunted. Yeah.
Yeah. Back in the studio, Killian is doing that thing that he does where he showers the audience with prizes. You said the dude's name is Leon, right? Showering
Leon,
with prizes. I like that one of them is like the board game version of the show you get to take home and play.
It's bonkers to me that there's a game in which people are losing their lives and these audience members are just like fucking pumped up for board games and home videos of this.
Yeah, there's a segment of a segment of the world population that would be very into a game show where people died. Just saying. Back to the action, though. We digress. Richards is able to snag the lasso on an exposed piece of rebar. And Buzzsaw kind of gets ejected from his motorcycle. That's a cool stunt, too, by the way. That stunt looks awesome.
Thrown off the motorcycle.
That stunt looks
pretty
badass.
solid. That's pretty solid.
And then we get cut from that action over to Weiss and Amber, who Weiss finally finds what he's looking for. We should mention that right before they all got separated, Weiss had deduced and sort of come up with the idea that the satellite uplink is not in space or in a different location. It's in the arena, which is a bonehead move on ICS's part, we think. And so Weiss has been looking around for the uplink. He kind of thinks it's in this area, and he finally finds what he's looking for. And it's like this box, like this mainframe, and he starts hacking.
Yeah, like the Resistance, the Rebels, whatever you want to call them. Basically, their big drive, their motivation is they want to knock ICS off the air because it's basically like the 24/7 government-run propaganda network.
It's brainwashing the kids.
So that's been their motivation this whole time, is we got to find where it is they're transmitting from so we can knock them off the air and like uplink our own feed or whatever it is.
Yeah, Mick, played by Mick Fleetwood, will like reverse the feed and maybe start pumping in some positive Resistance propaganda.
Maybe a little Fleetwood Mac tunes.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow is definitely going to be the first song that they play.
I love it.
I love the bit from Weiss. Great hexagonal decode system. Yeah. Okay, Weiss. All right. How far-fetched is it that there's a decode system based on just like aligning some shapes and shit?
I have no clue, but that... he gets down there and he gets to hacking, man. Like whatever it is, he knows what he's doing.
He says it's not impossible, but it is going to take some time because of course it is. That makes sense. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Richard stalks up to Buzzsaw's motionless body.
Back at the ranch?
Yeah.
Like I thought during the whole with Weiss, like Amber was just a chatterbox. Like she is just talking and talking a mile a minute.
Well, we sort of already established that that's what she does. She did.
You think like
she was
a nervous talker?
Yeah, she was doing that with Richards when she was like tied up to her workout machine at home.
I would listen to anything she had to say, though. I was a big Amber fan.
In any language, really.
Yeah.
I only speak a little Spanish, but anyway, yeah. Richard stalks up to Buzzsaw's motionless body.
It's like every horror movie.
Yeah.
He must be dead.
Why not? Would you just grab something heavy and bash him about the head?
There's no reason to creep up slowly, just tiptoe up to him. Just do it quick if you're going to run up on him.
Grab a chainsaw, crank that shit up, and cut him to death. But Buzzsaw predictably springs to life and begins grappling with Richards and trying to saw him because he's got that extra chainsaw. The two are struggling for control of the chainsaw. The viewers love this. They are losing their minds with bloodlust over this action.
Chainsaws are scary, are they not? Just the thought of it. Yeah, the thought of that chain touching you. Oh my God.
I have a good friend who I've worked with a lot as a singer. She owns a theater and opera company up in the UP of Michigan. Where if you've never been up to the UP of Michigan, you are missing the fuck out. Get up there as soon as you can. Oh man, it is amazing. And just nestled there between all the Great Lakes and stuff, there's so much to do and it's beautiful. But her husband is a no lie, legit lumberjack. And he has told me, and he looks like what a lumberjack should look like. He's just this giant guy, big beard. But he has told me stories about how chainsaws ripping into knots and wood and kicking back out and hitting him in the leg and having to go having to shut down operation for I got to stop cutting down trees and go get stitched up. So
my
the
brother-in-law,
very thought.
I got a story of this is not me, but my brother-in-law was trying to cut something that was sort of close to a chain link fence, and the chainsaw touched the chain link and just kicked back on him and hit him in the shin, and he took a big gash that he had to go get stitched up. Yeah, those things are no joke. I thought they did a really good job of casting Buzzsaw.
Oh, the dude is awesome.
He's is bigger than Arnold.
Yeah, he's that same kind of metrics, strongest man in the world competition. There's so much muscle. He doesn't. He's not cut, but he is strong as hell.
You can believe that this is someone who could overpower Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Do you think? I mean, I don't know what Arnold could bench press or deadlift at any given time because I don't have access to that information. But we know that Buzzsaw it's probably a modified motorcycle, but can lift a motorcycle over his head that probably weighs 300 pounds.
Oh yeah,
250 pounds, something like that. So in this exchange, as Buzzsaw pushes the saw towards Richards, we get Richards, I love this saw. This saw's part of me, and I'm going to make it part of you. Okay,
it is man. The hubris got him.
And what's the number one rule, baby?
Never give in to hubris.
Never stop fighting till the fight is done.
Yeah. Don't be Ray Jackson. Be Frank Dukes.
He doesn't know what Ray Jackson doesn't know what kill means. He doesn't know what dead means.
So at that moment, that's when Richard sort of starts to now overpower Buzzsaw.
Right.
And they're slowly, ever so slowly wrestling over the chainsaw. He's moving the blade in between Buzzsaw's legs.
I like he just brings it up between his legs, but goes all the way up. It's that's all right. Keep it. The line, the kiss off line from Ben Richards. It's gruesome, the blood splattering all over Buzzsaw's face.
High pitched screaming from Buzzsaw.
Well, it's as the Buzzsaw, as the chainsaw goes through his dick, and we presume that it saws. I guess it got the femoral artery, so he's bleeding out. It's comedic,
I think it cut his dick directly in half. Lengthwise, and it went between both balls. It was a perfectly symmetrical cut.
I like that. Interesting. Yeah, I can get behind that.
But he did let a high pitched.
We should also mention that at this point, Ben Richards would be absolutely soaked in another man's blood. That Adidas suit would be
at that.
The suit would be covered in gore, in flesh, in ball. testicle.
Oh God! I feel like Buzzsaw could have taken his finger off the trigger any time.
Right? Just stop.
Like once he started losing the battle, the battle of strength, he could have just let go of the chainsaw and let the blade stop.
And probably cut off. It's probably got a kill on it anyway. So the crowd back in the studio is shocked. We get stunned silence, a la when Sub-Zero died.
They've never seen any shit like this before.
While this is happening, Kevin, your boy Weiss is playing a very rudimentary video game, trying to get the code to take over the ICS feed. And he's like telling Amber, "Hey, memorize these numbers. Do something."
Do you think you could do that? Remember them in the heat of battle like that?
I would have been stooped over, like writing them in the dirt, probably just to be safe.
And then repeat it to yourself a bunch of times.
Yeah. But
it's not easy. I'll just say it's not an easy code to remember.
18, 24, 61, B, 17, 17 again, and then 4.
Yeah. I just feel like, okay, I could hold it for 10 seconds, but now if you're running around being chased by Dynamo, I feel like that code is going to exit my mind pretty quickly.
I would have been looking around for, I mean, they don't have a pen, so I don't even know what I would do.
That'd be just tough.
Or like grab something and etch it into your skin.
Into your flesh.
Yeah, in your, so just as the last number 4 pops up, Dynamo hits Weiss and Amber with some of his patented electricity powers.
Yes.
It's sort of reminiscent of the third storm in Big Trouble in Little China, like the ability to like channel electricity. You know what I mean?
I love it. Raiden or
it's sort of like Raiden, yeah.
Or electricity gremlin from Gremlins 2.
Yeah. Electricity. Or if you want to go super deep cut, for a while, for whatever reason, DC Comics went off the rails and Superman was like made of electricity.
For like electricity?
For like a hot second.
He was made of electricity?
Like he was blue. Like he looked like the electric gremlin from, like he was blue electricity, and the S on his chest was all like a lightning bolt. Anyway, Weiss gets...
we left out the most famous electricity thrower, the Emperor.
Good.
Emperor Palpatine.
Good. Yes. I'm afraid the deflector shield will be quite operational when your friends arrive. Weiss, it turns out, gets the brunt of that electricity, and by Weiss, he dies. That
they
sucks
killed him
for
quick.
Weiss.
That's one shot and you're done.
Yeah, he's not a big guy. He's not a lot of muscle mass. Maybe he has a weak heart. Who knows? Weiss dies. The delivery of the line right before he hits Weiss is effective. All you do is you sort of see the lights approaching and he says, "Come to me, my love." It's very creepy.
Dynamo is a creepy dude.
Right? Everything about the character is so unsettlingly weird.
Yes, absolutely. From the wardrobe to the weird sexual energy that he's putting off.
The fact that he's an opera singer, I just don't get it. I like thinking that maybe he was cast, and then on his resume, the producers are like, "Oh, you're a singer? How does that like show us?" And they're like, "Oh man, we got to make that part of your character."
They're probably like, "What talent do you have that you could bring to the part?" We should tell our listeners who don't know you that in another life,
that's true.
You were an opera performer.
That's right. I was an opera singer professionally, and it's what I studied in school, as worthless as that sounds, and then did that professionally for a lot of years until
you're in an unusual position to judge Dynamo's chops.
That's right. That's exactly right. And can tell you that he does not have a bad voice based on the little bit that you hear him sing in this movie.
What was he? Was he a soprano? What was he?
No. He's like a baritone, like a lyric baritone.
What are you?
I'm in the opera singing world of voice types. I fall sort of between like bass and baritone. So bass baritone hyphenated.
Which is deeper? Bass is the deepest?
Yeah. Bass is deeper. Yeah. True bass is the deepest voice type.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And the soprano would be like a woman. Soprano is a soprano note is like what Buzzsaw was singing as he was getting his dick cut symmetrically in half.
And like, what about so is tenors, is that like the high pitched for a man?
Yeah, so that's like Pavarotti.
The three
Domingo,
tenors.
Yeah, the three.
Wait,
the three
let's just say fuck Pavarotti while we're at it. Or is he the bad one?
What do you mean? No, Domingo. Domingo is the one that was, recently outed as a notorious womanizer. By the way,
sorry, Pavarotti. Fuck you, Domingo. Yeah, he also passed away. Yeah,
Pavarotti. No, Domingo's still alive. Pavarotti died a few years back. Pavarotti was a notorious.
Have coronavirus.
That was. I think that was
all up.
Yeah, I think you may be making that up. Domingo got coronavirus, but he didn't die. He didn't die.
Okay.
Serves him right, man. Yeah. So he that was the worst kept secret in the opera world. Like he was a notorious womanizer. Like his whole career, everyone joked about it for years.
Womanizer is different than being a predator. He was more of a predator, right?
It was, but a lot. Like so many people that I talked to would be like that. Just women were like struck by him, but I mean that's such a misogynistic view of it. He was probably holding it over their heads like, I could help your career so much if you just sleep with me, like dirtbag. Anyway,
I don't know that this makes the podcast, but I'm glad we were talking about it.
Absolutely. So then we get Dynamo sauntering over to Amber, and it looks like he's saying something, but there's no sound. Maybe they cut the dialogue that he was saying.
Yeah.
And
this bit of the movie is weird.
Yeah.
Because it just cuts to their outside struggling with each other.
Right. And we see his circuit board costume getting closer and closer, and Amber's screaming. And then Richards hears the scream from where he is. Mm-hmm. And outside, Richard sees Dynamo trying to overtake Amber, who's calling Richard's name, and he comes to the rescue. Hey, Lighthead! Hey, Christmas tree! Those are fucking terrible lines.
Those are awful. Were those written in a script, or were they just made up on the set?
I think that probably he had a list of things that he could call him, and they were like, probably the Starsky was like, hey man, Starsky was like, just shout a couple, whatever you think the character would say.
Starsky needed Hutch there to rein him in.
I will say that we get a really clever bit of musical addition from Faltermeyer to add.
Yes.
He adds the Ride of the Valkyries from Richard Wagner. Richard, he's German, folks. Richard.
Okay, Richard.
It was cool.
I think we're going to be good friends after all.
Richard. Oh man, we needed. How much more awesome would this movie have been if Kurtwood Smith had played Weiss,
or if Verhoeven had directed?
Oh, yeah, this movie would have kicked ass if Verhoeven had directed. That movie, it would have fucked even harder on another level. So anyway, good job, Faltermeyer, for using some opera music in the background. That was
nice. That was a great touch.
Yeah. Dynamo knocks Amber out with some yellow lightning, which I guess is his stun lightning because it's a different color than kill lightning.
Why not just kill her?
I don't know.
It was odd.
Probably because he wants a warm body when he tries to have sex with her. And that's
Dynamo's got some demons.
You know that does Dynamo have sex on live TV with his victims and the people who watch it?
We're going to get some more detail on that in the final chapter, I think. But Dynamo's got some weird kinks.
So he's got different colors of lightning. Yellow lightning stuns. Then he shoots blue lightning at Richards and misses. But he gets in his cart and starts chasing him while he's singing opera again. And it was here that I noticed that he's got the Doom buggy with the Knight Rider kit light on the front.
Yes. It's also here that Richard says, "Follow me, light bulb."
That's what I'm saying is they just gave him a list and they're like, you choose what you want to say. It's like choose your own adventure. Arnold probably ate it up. He was like, I'm improvising. So anyway, he tries to chase Richards up a scrap heap like a dumbass and flips his cart.
How does he not know what his vehicle is capable of doing or not doing?
I feel like
that
because
blew my mind that he even tried that.
Same. I just don't understand in what world that makes sense. But then he's pleading for help. He's like, cut, go to commercial, as Richards is walking up with a steel rod.
Richards has come to finish the job. Yeah.
Do you think that cut, go to commercial is code for come rescue me, or that he didn't want to die on screen?
Oh, I think it was cut to commercial and send out all the backup army that's probably waiting just off camera to make sure that, that the good guys don't win.
And do you think that given in a similar situation, if Sub-Zero had, and this made me start to think about this, in a situation where a contestant had a stalker cornered, and then you'll like go to commercial. Would like troops or police run in and kill, and that's why the stalkers have never died? They never die?
It's probably happened before, right? Like that a contestant has gotten a stalker in a bad position. Yeah, my guess would be that they would run in, maybe take the weapon away from from the competitor. Maybe? Yeah, they might either doctor the footage, or it might just be let's just reset, get them back to equal footing, and resume and the battle.
Continue. Interesting. Well, maybe the audience in the studio is screaming for Richards to kill him, a la Gladiator. Yes. But Richard says he won't kill a helpless person, not even sadistic scum like you. The audience does not appreciate the show of mercy.
Unlike Gladiator, where they sort of, when Maximus becomes Maximus the Merciful.
That's right.
When he won't kill, this audience like turned on him. I mean, these are terrible people, right?
They're fucking ruthless. America of 2017 in Stephen King's mind is terrible.
No comment.
Then we get the exchange between Richards and Amber. What happened to Buzzsaw?
He had to split.
Oh, God. It's
Jesus Christ.
A kiss-off line for something that happened 5 minutes ago. I let him go.
This movie's got double kiss-off lines for almost every big kill.
Nuts.
Wild.
Back in the studio, Killian's trying to mollify the crowd and spin it as it's incredible. The stalk isn't over till the fat lady sings. Then Fireball, played by legendary NFL fullback Jim Brown, is summoned to wardrobe as the show cuts to commercial.
Which I almost didn't even recognize Jim Brown. The Jim Brown of today, is really showing his age. But Jim Brown of 1987 looked like young and spry and like he could still whip somebody's ass.
I loved the hairstyle that they had on him, like the salt and pepper mohawk deal going on.
Yeah,
fucking awesome.
It was killer, man.
He looked like an X-Men character to me, and I can't picture exactly who he would have been, but he looked like he's just so larger than life, and a lot of charisma for someone that didn't train as an actor or something like that. Like on screen, he's got big personality.
Oh yeah, he retired from football young. I mean, he retired in his prime and went into doing movies and did blaxploitation stuff and shit like The Dirty Dozen or something, movies like this. I think. Also, after Killian calls for Fireball, then he announces that it's like the halftime show.
Right. Back in the arena, Richards and Amber go back for Laughlin, who appears, of course, to be mortally wounded.
I can't really tell where he's wounded or how. It didn't seem bad in the moment, but is it up around his neck?
I feel like it must have been in his chest, and it just was real deep, and he's got internal bleeding, and
he's slowly he's bleeding out.
It's like when you get gut shot. It probably went into his intestine, and he's just not going to make it. Laughlin tells them that the rebels, and why they wouldn't have, why this bit of information hasn't already been divulged is beyond me. But Laughlin tells them that the rebels have a hidden broadcast center in Quadrant 4. And that if they can get the code to them, they can take down ICS.
This is where the plot becomes a little bit more ludicrous.
Yeah, it's
because so the rebels are set up in the lion's den, essentially, and so close to the uplink site, yet they never found it before.
It reminds me of the line in Two Towers: "The closer we are to danger, the further we are from harm."
There's some logic to that. I like
absolutely,
it.
Yeah.
They would never expect us to be hiding right under their nose. Yeah.
So Laughlin says, "Don't let us die for nothing," that's hard.
He says, "I don't want to be the only asshole in heaven." I think it's a weird line.
It's sort of a touching moment there. We sort of there's an understanding between Laughlin and Richards, but
I think Laughlin and Richards were always a little bit of kindred spirits.
Totally,
they were cut from the same cloth.
Mr. Katanga. Laughlin dies, and that is the real turning point for Richards. Richards is now fully on board, even though I still think it would have made more sense for him to try to get to their uplink studio that they have in the game, and then to find out about his brother. But whatever, we can use the anger for Laughlin dying to what the catalyst for really making Richards on board with this plan finally.
Dude, I love Yaphet Kotto. as an actor. I've never seen him in anything where he didn't give a solid performance.
He's excellent. And
he was awesome in Alien. Come on. That's awesome. He did a bunch of like blaxploitation flicks as well. I mean, he did, he was never like the big A-list star, but he did some big A-list movies. I mean, it doesn't get bigger than a James Bond movie.
Not bigger than a James Bond movie or one of the greatest horror movies of all time.
Yeah. So he's just every time killer performance.
Yeah. Then we get this line from Richard saying it should have been him that died, but Laughlin saved me, and honor is.
What is he harkening back to the Sub-Zero save?
That save. Well,
or did he save him from Buzzsaw?
He pushed him out of the way as Buzzsaw was barreling down on him. I think he saved him twice, really. Right then, Killian comes up on the monitor on a private call just between them to tell Richards that he'll offer him a 3-year stalker contract if he wants it.
It's weird. He's like, we'll give you a beachfront condo and we'll give you a cadre line of credit. Like, I'm not sure.
This is a standard deal for a network stalker.
Richards is not going for it.
What do you think let's say Richard says, okay, what do you think his stalker personality would have been hypothetically?
Oh my goodness. He'd probably just be like a
paramilitary guy.
He doesn't strike me as the gimmicky, maybe they'd try to play in somehow the fact that he's like a helicopter pilot. His name would be Chopper.
Interesting.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. He's always flying choppers in movies. Arnold's very fixated on helicopters in all of his films. Anyway, Richards is not going for it. He is not having this idea. He says that he's looking forward to killing Killian and smashes it. I hope you have enough room for my fist because I'm going to ram it on your stomach and break your goddamn spine.
He just like smashes that camera and lets out the epic Arnold scream.
I feel like there's one moment in every Arnold movie where he really gets to cut loose. In Commando, I feel like it was during his fight with Bill Duke in the hotel, where he really gets to like cut loose and let a line go. And this was that opportunity in the movie where he got to like really double down on a line and let it go.
I love that little monologue.
Yeah, Killian, to his credit, he looks a little concerned. It's at this point that he gets a phone call from the Attorney General and shoos everyone out.
I mean, I would be concerned too. Like, this Richards I said before, he is pretty damn murderous. Like, he is enjoying killing people.
He's a fly in the ointment, Hans. The monkey in the wrench.
The pain in the ass.
Fireball, at that moment, Jim Brown, armed with a flamethrower, enters the arena I guess
this is the end of the halftime show. Yeah, like, presumably the little back and forth that was private was during halftime.
Right. He was getting his makeup done, touched up. Jim Brown
assume that Richards had taken the deal.
Yeah.
Then what would have happened when they came back from the halftime break? Like, sorry, that's the show for the day. Richards is going to be a stalker now.
I think the audience probably would have been into it.
Yeah, they were loving watching Richards kill.
Yeah, Richards was like pressing all of their buttons, as it were. They were getting their rocks off.
They sound like, that audience was comprised of people like your grandmother.
Yeah. Into those muscles, baby.
They like the sweaty muscles.
That's right. So we didn't see Jim Brown fly into the arena with a flamethrower and a rocket pack. The crowd is chanting his name. He's wearing some like chainmail, which I like. I like chainmail like out of context of like a knight or something like that. The photography of that part is very cool with the flames like against the dark background.
It's like these bright kind of pink flames, right?
Yeah, it was very cool. Yeah. Anyway, he takes off to face Richards and Amber.
At that same time, I think Captain Freedom is kind of like waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
Then he looks more than a little nervous about what's happening.
He knows the score, and probably he knows what kind of a man Richards is because no one's ever taken out this many.
Yeah.
Or maybe ever taken out stalkers. So it's at this moment in the studio, Killian is asking an elderly audience member, and this woman's the fucking balls. She is awesome. He's asking her which stalker she thinks will make the next kill.
That's right.
And she, Ben Richards.
And he's like, no.
Yeah,
you gotta
can't
pick a
choose
stalker.
a runner. And she says, I can pick anyone I choose.
Her name is Agnes.
Yeah, Agnes. I choose Ben Richards. That boy's one mean motherfucker.
She's awesome. I swear I know her from other shows, but I don't know what. But she had a familiar face.
People being mean motherfuckers is like D'Souza's favorite thing to write in a script.
Oh, what else was that in of his?
Commando, the guard at the mall.
One gigantic motherfucker.
Yeah, motherfucker. There's another one that we did recently. Where
surely there was stuff in Die Hard
where someone was a bad motherfucker.
Oh, RoboCop.
He didn't write RoboCop.
You're going to be a bad motherfucker. No, he didn't write RoboCop. He should have written Predator, where it was like, you're one ugly motherfucker.
It was big in the 80s to say you are one something motherfucker.
But yeah, that was I loved that. Agnes was feisty.
Yes, man. We then see we cut outside to the gamblers on the streets of LA, and those guys are betting on Richards. People are digging. They immediately buy into this idea. The odds are immediately going 100-1.
I mean, this is full on Gladiator, where
it is.
Everyone embraces Maximus, and all of a sudden, the Roman leadership is starting to lose its grip on the people.
As they're stumbling through the arena, Richards is bitching, saying he doesn't know what Laughlin was saying about a secret broadcast. I love the conversation, though, between Richards and Amber. Me and my big mouth, we should have taken that trip to Hawaii. I had the shirt for it, but you fucked it up.
That's like, it's weird banter. But it's
so
like, it's
odd. That's like setting them as this odd. It totally is. There's a level of camp in his writing, but I'm still into it. And it's just then at that moment that Fireball finds them. They start to run, and now Fireball's chasing them on foot. The guy is in chainmail and carrying a backpack with, I guess, a propane tank and a flamethrower.
It's got to weigh 100 pounds, his gear on the back.
I guess the only way that you justify it is by saying it's Jim Brown.
It's fucking Jim Brown.
And he like his career was running.
And they're running, a whole sequence, they're all running pretty slow.
Very slowly. Very slowly. Somehow he gets the drop on them and starts shooting flames. They run again. He's in hot pursuit.
They wind up like in a sort of a warehouse type area, and he's told Amber to go ahead and try to hide, and he's chucking these big barrels at him.
Barrels. He knocks over.
It's like full Donkey Kong style.
He knocks over the very last barrel that's filled with, you guessed
something
flammable. There's a huge explosion, but Fireball walks right through the wall of flame. Somehow,
which makes sense. His suit should be fireproof.
That's true. It's aluminum. It's like foil.
Okay.
It's not a conductor. As Richards turns to run, he picks up a flare from somewhere, just laying there on the ground. Amber finds a locker room type place to hide where it's just chocked full of corpses. And she sees on their Adidas suits, I guess, or on the lockers that
some of them had dog tags on, which was strange.
That these guys were previous season's winners.
Yes.
Shit. The guys that were supposed to have won
and partying in Hawaii with the models
so
or whatever.
Public lied to again.
It's very convenient that they were wearing dog tags,
right?
Because otherwise I don't know that you could identify them, but
they're corpses.
Anywho.
So at that moment Fireball finds her and has her cornered dead to rights in the locker room.
That's when she says to Fireball, "These are last season's winners," and he's like, "No, last season's losers."
Nice
line.
Excellent writing.
Were the bodies, did they seem burned up to you? Like, did Fireball burn those dudes, or were they just decaying?
They just seemed decayed to me. Like they could have been killed in any one of a number of ways and just had been left there in that room. It sort of reminded me of the scene in Hot Fuzz where Nicholas Angel finds the catacombs with all the crusty jugglers and
a great big bushy beard.
Yeah, he finds the gypsies and crusty jugglers in the bottom.
Crusty jugglers.
Crusty jugglers.
Yeah, I fucking love that.
It's
Edgar
amazing.
Wright,
I wonder if Edgar Wright got that moment. If the inspiration from that moment from this scene, I bet he did.
It could be.
I guarantee he did.
The audio montage during that scene of Hot Fuzz, though, kills me. The crusty jugglers. A great big bushy beard.
I need to go back and rewatch that. I've seen that movie 1,000 times, but fuck, it's so good. Anyway, Richards drops from the ceiling and yanks the fuel hose out of the flamethrower.
Yep.
Fuel spraying everywhere, and at that moment, Richards tosses that aforementioned flare.
Along with the line, how about a light?
There's a huge explosion, and then we get, what a hothead. So not one, but two kiss-off lines.
He's zinging them, just zinging them.
Boo.
You could have edited one of those out. Every time you just need one, not two.
Maybe Arnold had last right of refusal.
Do half as much.
He was like, I want them both in there, baby.
But then that's what I'm like. So Fireball's suit is not that fireproof because he's burning up in it now.
He is now dead as a doornail. The crowd is cheering Richard's latest kill. Others are stunned. And it's at that moment that we get an intercom call. Captain Freedom to wardrobe. Captain Freedom to wardrobe.
Right. Well, now, wait a second. So there are cameras in the locker room where Fireball got killed?
Right. Well, maybe they
saw this. The audience did.
Yeah.
So they would have seen the other previous winners were killed and not sent to Hawaii. Then, right?
Maybe there's a delay on how fast people see the footage, and that they could cut that part out. And maybe also she didn't. Maybe they cut to they immediately cut, and it was after she said that part, and he says last season's losers.
That's true.
And so all you see is him hulking over, ready to burn her.
Seeing is believing.
Seeing is believing, my friend. Captain Freedom enters the production room wearing what looks like a microwave.
It was the worst.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like all kinds of chromed out metal thing. And he's like, I'm not going on.
Killian tells him it's not a request, it's an order. But he's saying, I don't want to wear all this ridiculous shit. It seemed like when he started out, there was more honor.
Right.
In whatever this used to be than what it is now.
Yeah, he said, when I started out, it was the sport was about death and honor. We had the code of the gladiators. And I love the intensity from the body. The body's a good actor. I guess when you're a pro wrestler, that's part of the deal. Yeah. But he really dials it up in that moment. And Killian says it's not a game, and that Richards is starting to win the crowd over. Yeah. It's at this moment that Killian tells Sven, I fucking love this moment. He tells Sven to get Jesse out of there, berating him as he does. Steroids make you deaf. But I love the breath of hesitation from Sven, and then just the look at Jesse Ventura, come on, man, just do me a solid and get out of here so we don't have to fight.
What do you think's going on with Captain Freedom? Is he disillusioned or is he scared?
I think that he knows that however it gets played out, that it's not going to be the right thing.
That if Richards is good enough to win his way out of the game, he should be allowed to win.
Right. I think
it shouldn't be that we're just going to keep sending more and more guys after him.
And maybe also
that type of thing.
And maybe also whether or not Captain Freedom was going to go into the arena, they wanted to get some live fighting. I don't know, because the deep fake that comes up later with them, I don't know. Maybe, I think he is just supposed to be disillusioned. Also, probably he doesn't want to die.
I think he likes his workout show and being the guy hosting from the locker room and all that. This whole bit is kind of it's like Gladiator, where the crowd starts backing Maximus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Rocky IV, where the Russians go pro Rocky.
Love it. We cut over to Richards and Amber, who are still looking for the Rebel base / broadcast center. But all of a sudden some gates close around them and they're trapped.
Oh shit, they're trapped. Cliffhanger.
What do they do? We'll have to find out next time in the exciting conclusion and final episode, the ultimate episode.
The ultimate. I cannot wait, my friend.
In our series on Running Man.
I cannot wait. We'll be back.